We're at Circuit de Spa using the Grand Prix pit. The track is 19 turns, or if you go towards the iRacing map, it says 21 turns. You look elsewhere, 20 turns. I'm using 19 turns on it. It's 4.35 miles in length. It's a long track, but will feel short after last week. There's lots of drafting here. Be patient. You do not want to lose the draft, and you will see plenty of aggressive driving this week, which will cause folks to lose the cars in front, and then all of a sudden you're racing for a further back position. I love Senna, but this isn't a track you want to tackle open gaps unless you are sure you can maintain the draft for the car that's in front of the car you're passing. If you compromise yourself and the car behind you, if you guys don't work together and the cars in front of you are, you will never catch them unless they're just a lot slower than you are. So be careful with it. Be strategic, and when you want to push someone, uh, you know, duck down inside of them slash dive bomb them. Uh, it's one of those things that's going to be a detriment to most likely both of you if you're barely hanging on to a draft of the folks that are in front of you. The this I did this in a public session, so it was open practice. It was hard to get a good lap without getting a draft or an obstruction or something happening somewhere on the track. I went and picked, one of the decent laps that I had inside of there. The air temp was 64 Fahrenheit or 17.77 Celsius. The track temp was 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius. Winds were southwest at 2 miles per hour. This lap time was a 2:47.751. Optimal times in this temp with no draft are in the high 246s. Uh, the setup, nothing's really changed week after week. The only thing you play with typically is anti-roll bar 7 or 8. The tire pressure is always the same, your ride height, and then brake bias. The lower you can go, the better rotation you get, the more unstable the car is under braking. But you get more braking power the closer you get to 50%. So it's a trade-off. What you feel comfortable with, play with it, see what you can do with it. Kind of go from there. Let's go down to the tutorial itself. Again, I do have the overlay in the bottom right corner showing the gear that I'm in. We'll go ahead and do a chase around the track. I'll leave the uh, overlay up so you can see break-in and steering inputs and everything else like that. So we'll go ahead and play it and just let you watch and listen. Alright, so that's the lap. We'll go ahead and go into the cockpit. We'll go into turn one down here. Uh, Coming down here, fairly quick. What I'm looking for is the marker on the left-hand side coming up here. I use the red marking on the fence right there. You can push braking a little bit past that. Car's a little bit unstable, so it really wants to flicker around a little bit. So you can play with that. I was faster than this sometimes, slower than other. You got to work on the consistency throughout the week. So you'll see as we come up here. Oh, I guess I got to go back one. All right, here we go. So as we come up, what I'm looking at again is this red marker right on the fence there. You'll see I'm full throttle right here. I'm going to step up just really slowly. You start seeing the brake coming on as I start going by that marker there. Braking a whole lot in the straight line. Start getting the car turned just a little bit. You can see that the back end's coming out as a counter steer. That really gets the car to whip around there. And then look how soon I'm back on the throttle. So I'm coming into that corner and I'm going back full throttle right there. Play with this corner a little bit. There's a ton of time to be had on that corner for most of us. Getting consistent on there is going to make a big difference on there. So you see as I get full throttle way early on this, we'll just go to the, let's see, far chase view. I mean, I'm full throttle all the way back there. Um, not the best line through here, but I mean it's pretty good. It's pretty fast through here. There's like I said, maybe a tenth or two inside of there you can make up. You're gonna track way out there, get your shifts going, and it sets you up for the long haul to the Rouge. Let's see here, cockpit. So I'm gonna start way out to the. I'm gonna back it up here. So I'm gonna start way out all the way to the fence over here. I turn in, take a whole lot of the side over here. I'm probably right on the edge of getting a 1X right here. I'll get a 1X like every other lap through here. I don't need to be quite this far. I'll start as the week goes on. I'm sure I won't be taking this quite as far to the left. Um, but as soon as you get through there, you're getting just a real gentle turn, coming up to where you're almost touching the curb inside of here. I came out just a little bit further than I'd like on there, but I'm full throttle through here. Let the steering wheel kind of pull away from you and go straight. Turn slightly left, and you can take a whole lot of this curb as well. I mean, I can take more than I am right now, and you're just full throttle, and you don't want to fight the car. You don't want to turn too much. It will slow down. It's really strange. I think I do the same thing through this over and over again. Sometimes I'm a tenth up, but then I lose it by the end of the stretch. Sometimes I'm a tenth down, but I'm even by the end of the stretch. So I know there's a little bit of time in there. Just getting maximizing your steering input so you don't get that tire scrub. That's the critical piece of it. So as you're coming down here into this corner, we're going flat out full speed. What I'm looking on here is just about it's kind of hard for me to there's not really a marker in here. It's right about in here. It's right before you get to that red marker up there. I'm starting to get on the brakes. You can push this slightly further than I did on this time. The main thing is just to make sure you carry a lot of speed, get the turn in, get the car rotated, because what you're going to do is you're going to start getting on that throttle again fairly early. You're going to let off just to get the rotation as you come into the next turn, and then you're going to go full throttle through here, and you're going to stay full throttle all the way through here. So it's critical that you get way up on those curbs. If you saw where I was on these curbs, I'm way up on the right hand curve as I come in here. I'm gonna go to the chopper view on here because it shows a lot on here. Not only where I come back, and you can see where the brake input comes in. So you can see the brake input. It's shortly after you get onto the left hand curb. And then watch the throttle input. You start getting back on throttle as soon as the car gets pointed. Take a whole bunch of curb on the right. Lift up just to let the front end sit, and a bunch of curb on the left, and then you're going back to full throttle. You're going full throttle through all of this, and you can take a lot of curb on the right hand side. I don't think I took very much on there. You can go all the way up into that grasscrete or whatever it is up there. I didn't take as much as I could have on here, which pushes me out a little bit further, which puts me in danger of getting a 1X as I come out there. So just be careful with that. You can take more curb and make it a little bit less dangerous, probably even carry a little bit more speed through here. But get off, get back to the right as quickly as you can so you don't get a 1X through here. Coming down here, my brake point is the start of the left-hand curb. Right there, I'm going to start my braking, or actually, I guess I'm trying to look here. I start it right at that curb, so I'm just past that curb actually. I get the car slightly turned. I overshoot it slightly here. I should have been braking a little bit heavier to slow the car down to stay tighter. So I double apex this. So you'll see I come out, then I come back in, back on the throttle, full throttle. Stay full throttle, get over to your right. You want a whole lot of right curb on here. As soon as you start seeing it on the left, you're going to be starting to think about lifting the throttle to get that rotation and turning it in at the same time, and then go back to full throttle before you reach apex. I think I wait a little too long for full throttle here. You'll see it that I easily get the exit on here, just because I should have been full throttle back in here probably. You'll see I come out here. I have plenty of room. I've got half a car width to the right that I probably could have gone without a 1X. But it's what it is on there. As you come down here, what I'm looking for a brake point is a red mark on the right hand side, and it's hard to see. You can see it right there coming up. Actually, I thought I broke somewhere else in there. Oh, there it is right there. So this red mark here is about where my brake takes place. I'll do another chopper view so you can kind of see where this is for your own. It's about midway down there where I start to brake. At the same time, I'm going to go through and I'll do a downshift on there. So we'll go through and play this again. You'll see that I come through and I do a downshift. Turn in, I start throttle, full throttle, all the way through the corner. Don't track out too wide if you don't need to. Then I'm coming all the way into here, and about, I don't know, 4 car lengths down or so, maybe a little bit less. Let's get out and look at the cockpit, or sorry, the chopper view again. So maybe 3 car lengths down, I'm really starting to get on the brakes. So we come down here. Let's see. Actually, right at the curb. As soon as I got a car length on there, I'm starting to get on those brakes. You can push this a little bit further on here. I was pushing it another 2 or 3 car lengths. I picked up a little bit of time in here. So again, play with this. The critical point of this is that when you take your right-hand corner through here, I thought I didn't want to get up on the curb. I was doing very similar time. So coming here, getting the tires just on the edge throughout here and back on the throttle was fast. Getting my tires up on that curb didn't slow me down all that much. So either I'm not quite as much on edge and as fast as I think I am through here, or it doesn't really matter if you go on the inside or you really go up there and get that grasscrete. You don't get a 1X for it. But you'll see as I come through here, I'm starting to get back on throttle before I reach that apex. I'm going to lift slightly and then flick the car back to the left and go almost back to full throttle before apex again. I should have been full throttle, probably about there. I can come out easily. You don't want to go too far off the right hand side or we will get a 0X. But again, you can see that is just super fast. So it's a short lift just to get the front tires to sit, and then you're full throttle again. Come down here, I'm looking for that curb on the left hand side. I will ride that curb. I will downshift once, so the brakes are coming on, downshift, and then starting full throttle. And again, I'm full throttle way back here before I reach that apex. So I got all the rotation I wanted. Again, this is another one. If I get on the correct grasscrete, I thought it was faster not to hit it. I hit it a few times. I didn't really lose all that much time. In fact, I think I was a little bit faster when I went over that grasscrete. There is a 1X out there, so be careful with it. And also, when you track out, be very careful. You do not want the rear of your car to pass that, basically that drain right off the, between the AstroTurf or whatever it is and the curb there. There's like a little drain or something there. You do not want your rear end of your car to go to the left of that, or what you will get a 1X on it. But you're full throttle from that before that last apex. all the way around here, an upshift. Go out as much as you can to not scrub any speed. Full throttle all the way down here. Take an apex sort of right there and then shoot straight across towards the left-hand side of the track to minimize your distance. You don't. You can track out quite a bit over to the right. You turn in here, full throttle. Track out again. Again, you want to take it to the right as close as you can to that. And this is a tricky little braking spot right here. What you're doing is you're coming up, to this chicane bus stop. You see this dirt that's on the ground right here. I'm looking at this area right up inside of here is where I typically try to brake. So you can see I start to brake right in there. Um, it's a pretty heavy brake. You can push that a little bit, but you do need to make sure you get the car slowed down. You're getting a whole lot of slowdown in the initial portion. You're doing a turn in. You can see the turn in appears to be fairly quick, and I'm going to track out all the way to the left hand side of the track. Carry as much speed in as I can. I'm going to hit the gas again right there, and then what I'm doing is you see I'm let's see on the chopper view. Uh, I'm mid track, but I'm aimed to the left on there. You go to far chase, you can see I'm mid track. I started pushing this harder and harder, and I was coming out, probably um, just to the left of that line right there before I came into this turn. And you'll see as I come through here, let's go back to the cockpit. I'm going to lift the throttle all the way to get rotation and then get back on the gas. I should have probably been back on. I should have lifted the throttle a little bit more abruptly to get more rotation and been back on the throttle about right in here, about 5 feet before I was. But you're going to track all the way out to the right, get your tires almost over to that AstroTurf or the yellow area, green area to your right. Track out, full throttle, and cross the line. You see it's a 247, 751. There is a lot of time I can see just what I did later in this session. Like I said, it was hard to kind of get a good lap in. It was a public session. A lot of folks learning the track first time, kind of either slowing me down or just um, I didn't want to take a draft, so I ended up slowing down on it. But I think you were going to see 246s this week without draft. High 246s, low 246s with draft, maybe in 245s if you get the perfect lap in there with some of the aliens that are out there. They get that draft and the perfect lap. You can get a ton of time on this track just because there are so many straights that are on there. Again, watch the dive bombing and everything else on there. I mean, it's one of the things you do it. If you're in the lead, there's not really an issue with it. But if you've got or you're fighting for the lead, but if you're trying to stay with the leaders and you're a bit slower, if you start fighting behind, the leaders will lose you. So you don't want to do that. If you're interested, join us with the Sunday Night Skippy League. If you're not comfortable with racing, then we also do a Saturday night, what they call Saturday night shenanigans, which is just getting people in different cars. Last weekend we did Skippies on dirt, and then we did an oval. First time I ever did an oval in a NASCAR, and that was definitely interesting. Uh, big difference in how you just drive the car and everything else. I'd never done it before, and man, you had horsepower. It was kind of crazy. So there's new things that they do. That's just all for fun, and people just having fun doing that on the Saturdays. Sunday is competition. People are out there. We do have some minimal times to meet, but we have all skill levels, from some of the fastest guys in the skippies all the way down to people that are just learning the skippy. They know, or just learning the racecraft and pretty fast in the skippy. We got people that just do time trials so that they start learning the racecraft. We got people that have raced all different types of cars, are just learning the skippy. So there's races throughout the entire pack. I think we had 25 cars start and almost 25 cars finish at Nord last week. Probably have quite a few cars this week, 25, 30 cars this week for this track. Come and join us. Reach out to us to apply for the league, and we have a very active Discord community, and people are more than happy to hop in sessions with you, do follow, do the follow the leader type of thing to help you learn the tracks. Uh, you're more than welcome to join, and enjoy, and we're just trying to do clean racing, and not have people yelling at people, things along those lines. So if you have any other things, any tips, feel free to leave a comment for me. Visit twolabsracing.com if you want to see any of the articles I have on just driving in general, Skippy, kind of specifically for at least some of the sim stuff. You're looking at the sim rig that I have. I've got some details up on that. It's a great rig. I'm really happy with it. Go into some of the components that I bought for it and what it runs. Give it a look. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. I will try to respond. And have a great week and good racing, everyone.